Part 35. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 341. Xiedingyu came to Baikataman to purchase spirit grass for the section. Xuechang said so. He didn't think that the monks outside were more knowledgeable than the professional Xuechang. He persuaded, those people are just jealous and sour, that's all. It's their own business who they become a Taoist companion with. There's no room for others to talk about it, and besides, even the mother of fellow Taoist Chi didn't say anything. Xuecheng nodded and said, no, let's go, I'll take you to pick the spirit grass. Although Xuecheng was trained as an alchemist of Baikataman, he knew more about cultivating Lingzi than outsiders. With his guard, Xiedingyu would not be disadvantaged. The two selected a large number of spirit grasses and settled the spirit stones. Because they were not in a hurry to return to the sect, Xuecheng also invited Xiedingyu to sit in his cave. As soon as he drank a cup of spirit tea, Xuecheng was called by the door owner to question him. He went out and turned around and came back. He saw that Xiedingyu was also holding his messenger in a daze. Obviously he had just contacted someone else. Seeing Xuecheng, Xiedingyu got up and said that I had to go, and the sect asked me to take a few disciples to Lingyun sect. It's a coincidence, I'm going to Lingyunzong too. Is it because of the need for pills? Xuecheng asked. Xiedingyu finally revealed the hidden surprise, you know it too? Is this true or false? Guyao is not only a 6th grade high-level alchemist, but also has a very high rate of high-grade alchemy. Zongmen wants me to confirm it. Is it true? If it is true, find a way to obtain a batch of 6-rank need-grade pills. Xuecheng was also shocked in his heart. I believe that you and my sect would not joke about this kind of thing. It happened that you and I met with the ancient alchemist, and it is impossible to say that we will meet the Luo alchemist during this trip. Xiedingyu wiped her face, and I came to ask fellow Daoist Luo. If this is the case, then the three of us will go together. Okay. The first one to get it was the demon cultivator of the Wuji Palace. Before Yin Wuji returned to the Wuji Palace, he ordered the congregation to send someone to the Lingyun sect to discuss cooperation and seek medicinal pills. Gong is not in short supply of top-grade pills, and their demand for top-grade pills is also very large, especially those top-grade pills that help break through and advance. The value is even greater. The higher UPS in the sect were not stupid either. They paid attention to them when Qi Changjai was digging out the medicinal pills. Later, when Wei Fengzhu and other medicinal masters returned to the duel field in the middle of the battle, it was even more so when the consciousness swept through them one after another, and it happened. It's not clear what's going on. When Wei Feng leads Guyao back to Dangxia Peak, it's a good time to go to Dangxia Peak in person to inquire about the news, and want to ask Guyao for elixir. Peak Master Wei directly gave Guyao the highest authority of Dangxia Peak. He can call any resources of Dangxia Peak and protect him, but it is not a person who can see Guyao alone. Bo, maybe you can't prepare for those guys and promise to make alchemy for them after a few words. How can that be done? The goal of several alchemists in charge of Dangxia Peak is still very consistent, that is, to devote themselves to training a 5th grade alchemist, not to make Guyao an alchemist who keeps refining alchemy for other monks. This is overkill. Master Wei, Senior Brother Wei, a Yuanying cultivator said, almost, your nephew is stuck at the breaking point but has been slow to get through. Considering the affection we have known each other for so many years, please help your poor nephew. Others were ashamed when they heard it, but they didn't expect that the guy who used to be upright in the past would actually have such a shameless side. Peak Master Wei glanced at him, and then pointed at the other monks present, asked them whether they agree or not. Even though junior brother Gu has 6 or 8 hands, he can't make alchemy in time, not to mention that he has to retreat and practice. We can't delay the important event of junior and junior training and promotion. Others also vomited blood when they heard it. Guyao was only promoted to the middle stage of nascent soul before going to Jianj, so where did he need to retreat and break through? The alchemy master's alchemy is also a method of cultivation, so what the peak master Wei said is that they are delaying Gu Yao's great future. Yin Shi smiled and said next to him, "Why don't you go to Gu Chi Peak and ask Chang Yet?" Everyone's faces stiffened. The level of Qi Changjai was even more difficult than that of Wei Fengju. Wei Fengju was just a hard worker, but Qi Changjai would directly use his sword. At present, there is no nascent soul cultivator in the entire Lingyuan sect who is confident that he can beat it. Late in the night, they also kept a photo-taking stone in their hands, and they turned it out from time to time to figure it out. Okay, Peak Master Wei came out to be a peacemaker. You don't have to fight anymore. I, the Peak Master, will be the master for Junior Brother Gu, and will regularly release a batch of medicinal pills. The number is limited. Get it, the one with the highest price gets it. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief. That's fine. They thought of doing some small tricks secretly, such as when they were notified a little earlier than others, then they would be able to arrive a moment earlier to grab the medicine pill, and at this time, their confidence in the ancient Yaodan technique is not so great. It's just that he couldn't be prepared to think that way, and Feng Lord Wei was finally informed of the various bribes received by the top management of Dangxia Peak. Soon, Dangxia Peak entered a busy time. First, the monks from Wuji Palace arrived, and they were sent to Dangxia Peak by the senior officials of the section. Then, the Five Elements sect, the Ancient Moon sect, and the Baiko sect joined forces to reach the Lingyuan section. Seeing that the situation was not good, they quickly sent their disciples to the Lingyuan section. No matter whether the rumors were true or not, they could not fall behind other forces. The disciples of Lingyuan sect are strange, especially the disciples of Dangxia Peak are even more strange. Why are these sect monks coming to their Dangxia Peak in waves? This is a sight that has never been seen before. The cultivators of these sects are coming, usually to communicate with the disciples of other peaks, and it is very rare that they will make a special trip to Dangxia Peak. There are 5 Elements sect, Gu Yuemen also. Wuji sect also has 5 rank alchemists, but Lingyuan sect lags behind others in this area of alchemy, so it is the alchemist to learn alchemy techniques, usually on Dangxia Peak. The alchemist dispatched to their territory, but Dangxia Peak was not in the loop. Do home ground. So what's going on this time? After a long time, some news came out. A 6th grade senior alchemist? High quality pills have a very high rate of pills? It is said that the first news came from the duel between Qi Changjai and Yan Yuanjing in swordsmanship, because Qi Changjai gave the best pills to others, and these best pills came from his Taoist companion. Really? Isn't he just in the middle stage of nascent soul? Why is he a 6th grade high grade alchemist? Can he still refine a 6th grade high grade best grade pill? If it's fake, those sects will run to Dangxia Peak together? Aren't you afraid of being exposed to lies? Is it necessary to fake something like this? I followed the trend and said that Gu Yao was a little unworthy of Qi Changjai's disciples. I felt guilty and didn't dare to accept these words, but I still hoped that these statements might not be true, because for so many years, which alchemist has been on Dangxia Peak? Is his alchemy technique beyond his own cultivation base? To admit this, wouldn't it be necessary to admit that Gu Yao's genius in alchemy was no less than Qi Changjai's talent in swordsmanship? If Gu Yao is not worthy of Qi Changjai, what kind of cultivator is worthy of standing beside Qi Changjai? At this time, 3 monks came to the outside of Guka Peak. Many nascent soul monks in the sect were paying attention to this scene. Except for the alchemist of Dangxia Peak, it is difficult for outsiders to enter Guka Peak, let alone these 3. They also represent 3 different sects. Want to enter? It's almost a dream. However, the next moment, they went straight through the mountain protection formation that was opened from the inside. With a flash of light, the formation was sealed again. How is this going? How did the 3 of them get in so easily? Soon there was news from Dangxia Peak that the 3 of them had formed a friendship with Gu Yao at the time of the Demon Realm of Death. The four of them discussed alchemy techniques with each other, and they were more compatible, so at this moment, friends came to visit. How could they be rejected? Outside the door. It's that simple. Let's look at each other. Before Qi Changjai's return, Gu Yao knew a few nascent soul cultivators in Lingyun sect because of Qi Xian, and no nascent soul cultivator took the initiative to get acquainted with Gu Yao except Dang Ziapeak. I just remembered now that I have to get close. It's too late. It's not as good as a few monks from other sects getting close to Gu Yao. You are here. Gu Yao stood in the air to greet Xuecheng and the three of them. Before they left the demon realm of death, they exchanged the method of interrogation. Before they came again, Sect Master Wei first interrogated and asked if he wanted to receive these three people, because they all came to visit by name. As a friend's banner, you can't keep people out. Gu Yao said yes, he will come to receive them. Xie Dingyu cupped his hands and smiled and said, after 3 days of separation, you should look at it with admiration, and you are talking about Gu Alchemist. Gu Yao smiled helplessly, since you're here, let's sit in my cave. The new house that I just moved may have a normal view. Anywhere, I think it's pretty good. It's better than a few of us in the cave. The three of them have been paying attention to Gu Yao's situation, especially wanting to know the situation of him and Qi Changjai. Xie Dingyu is also a good gossip, and he has already started with all the news that can be found outside, so they also know that the two have just returned to the section sect. The high-level sect took action to place this mountain for them. How can this condition be so bad? They are too envious. Gu Yao made a gesture of invitation. Qi Changjai fell behind, and he, the master, had to come out, so he came out to greet the three of them, and then handed it over to Gu Yao to entertain himself, while Qi Changjai went down and arranged for the disciples to send some linguo dim sum is over, be sure to entertain Gu Yao's friends. As a female cultivator, Luo Jing was the most attentive, and found that the eye contact between the two was so sweet. The Qi Changjai in front of them did not quite match the image of Jiangziu in their impressions. It was extremely cold, but in front of them there was no air at all. Of course, Luo Jing also knew that this was because of Gu Yao. Before coming, she also heard a lot of rumors, and she was a little worried about Gu Yao. What she saw with her own eyes was more credible than the rumors. There was no need for others to worry about the relationship between the two. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 342. Although he knew the purpose of the three sects sending Luo Jing and the others to Lingyun sect, Gu Yao was quite happy to see his friends visiting. From the mouth of the three of them, especially Xie Dingyu, Gu Yao knew all kinds of rumors outside, and when he heard it, he could not laugh or cry, but he did not expect the three of them to worry about himself. Luo Wan covered her lips and smiled, it's because we thought too much. In fact, there are many loving Dao companions in the cultivation world. We don't have confidence in fellow Daoist Qi, and we have to have confidence in Gu Alchemist. Gu Yao was thin-skinned and blushed a little bit by Luo Wan's teasing, so he quickly brought the topic to alchemy. The three of them expressed curiosity about Gu Yao's previous experience, and Gu Yao also talked about it, especially about alchemy, and Wan. Compared with Luo Dalu, it is not without merit, and there are many places that are worth learning from. For example, Tianlin continent has limited resources, so the utilization efficiency of spirit grass is much higher than that of Wan Luo continent, and because of the many bloodlines of the bereaved family, the development of basic type spirit grass and spirit flowers is also quite effective. Briefly talking about the situation, Xuecheng and the three were yearning for it. They deeply felt that it was impossible to work behind closed doors. As for the need for pills, Gu Yao could agree to them, but Dang Ziafeng had to check how much. Xie Dingyu laughed so hard, you can rest assured, we know what we know, and we won't open up to you to make you do hard things. We will go back to Dang Ziapeak first, and come back to you to discuss the alchemy technique at another day. The research on the exorcism pill is not over yet. Okay, that's what I mean, and I don't want to give up halfway. The three reached an agreement, and Guyao sent them out of Guqi Peak. Seeing the figures of Guyao and Qi Changjai hiding in the mountain protection formation, Luo Wan felt a little unbearable. This was too different from her previous understanding of Jianqiu. She rubbed her arms and said, "You guys say, should I also find a Taoist companion? I can't just watch others show affection." Xie Dingyu and Xuecheng have a deep understanding of this fellow's temperament. Now they look at others showing affection and envy, but she may be the one who can't stand it first, but she can't say that, otherwise this girl won't be able to spare them. So the two of them said, "Yes, yes, look at how many senior brothers of your Guyuemen pursue you. If Guyuemen is not enough to choose, we can choose from the Five Elements sect and Baiko section. There is also the Lingyun section, I believe, in Gudan." Both the teacher and fellow Daoist Qi are very happy to help. Pu Yinhua also knew what was going on outside, and said something like, "I've had enough to eat." These people also saw Qi Changjai's achievements today. Under the circumstance that his cultivation base was completely lost and his whole body was injured, their eyes were on him. It is strange that there will be late nights in it. So after scolding, I continued to hang on the rattan net, nibbling on the spiritual fruit and enjoying the scenery, living an increasingly depraved life. From time to time, I went into the water and touched two spiritual fish, which were roasted and eaten by the river, so that Zhou could see it. Is simply insane. Are you planning to live on Xiaoao and Qi Changjai for the rest of your life? Look at you, there's a circle of fat around your waist, Zhou said provocatively. Go away. If you hadn't been in my light, could you stay in this ancient Qi peak? My figure is of the highest standard, and you have only grown fat and fat. Yinhua was furious. Don't look at him. She often wears her current appearance, but she is actually quite complacent about her figure. Zhou wanted to abduct Yinhua out of Lingyun sect with all his heart, and he was on Yinhua's nephew's territory. He was in everything he did, which was not conducive to the development of his plan. Guyao and Qi Changjai ignored Zhou's eagerness to move, and both felt that it was not a good time for their uncle to leave. Now there are many people outside, including the sect, who are staring at Gu Qifeng. Therefore, the two of them practiced alchemy and retreated, and their days in Guqi Peak were very comfortable. Occasionally, Yan Yu and Jing came over to find Qi Changjai and cut swordsmanship. Xuecheng and others who were temporarily staying on Dangxia Peak would also come from time to time. Before Xuecheng waited to leave, the four finally researched the exorcism pill. Originally, Guyao never gave up research in this area. The remnants of the recipe obtained during the previous trials, the exorcism pill was pushed out smoothly. Peak Master Wei and the alchemist on Dangxia Peak were very excited. Although this medicinal pill is of little use now, who can guarantee that it is time for him to have no accidents? Moreover, the appearance of this alchemy recipe also proved the level of Guyao's alchemy skills. Because of the participation and contribution of Luo Box and others, this exorcism pill was finally shared by these sects. The three led the disciples in the sect to leave, and they were very excited on the way. The disciple of the Five Elements sect who followed Xie Dingyu said, "I didn't expect it to be true. All of them are top quality pills. Brother Xie, you have such a good relationship with Master Gu, can't you find a way to pull Master Gu into our Five Elements?" Seeing that senior brother Xie is also very personable and popular among the female disciples in the sect, if senior brother Xie appears, maybe he will succeed, so why not give it a try? At this time, they forgot their previous advocacy for Qi Changjai. Obviously, such an alchemist is more valuable to the sect. Xie Dingyu looked at these who were chasing his senior brother in disbelief, holding his arms and shaking. "I don't have the guts to the ancient alchemist from fellow Daoist Qi, whoever of you has the guts to go up, I'll do it for you. You help out." The dry laughs are no longer instigated, and it is no fun to provoke Qi Changjai to chase them with a sword and slash. With their departure and the introduction of the best pills in the sect, the voices questioning Guyao became less and less. This is not an ordinary alchemist at all, okay? If you want to push people out of Lingyun sect, you have done the stupidest thing. Woolen cloth. The nascent soul cultivator who got the medicinal pill through Qi Xian shouted in front of other nascent soul cultivators, "Oops, this kid Qi Changjai is really capable, he kidnapped such an alchemist into the house, which one of you? The younger generation has such ability?" They had provoked quite a few nascent soul cultivators and hated their teeth when they saw them. This situation made Elder Wang sigh, and it gave him a headache after a long night. He didn't expect another Guyao. Although he felt very angry, he could see clearly that he really had trouble with this husband. If there is no end to the deal, the sect will finally make. The choice is likely not to be as he wished. Zongmen can see which person is more valuable to the continuation of Zongmen's existence. The days on Zixiao Peak were not easy either. Both Qi Xian and Qi Changjai were back, and the old accounts had to be excavated and liquidated. Qi Zheyu may have done what other male nascent soul cultivators did too, but since then, they have not done much for Qi Zheyu. The various actions of the long night are unpleasant to the eyes. Squeezing and suppressing everywhere does not count. As a result of Qi Changjai falling into the space crack in the secret realm of Qingyang, many cultivators who have paid attention to the events of the past have some knowledge in their hearts, and it is definitely not an accident. That kind of thing was not done by Zhong Changan alone. He didn't have that much ability by himself, but with Wang Yuzhu, it was not the case. With the gang of dogs around Wang Yuzhu, Qi Changjai's situation was getting worse and worse. And Wang Yuzhu was fighting against the power of Zixiao Peak. Their father and son said that they could do whatever they wanted on Zixiao Peak. At that time, how many other nascent soul monks on Zixiao Peak were watching with one eye closed? At that time, he didn't stand up to criticize or even stop Wang Yuzhu's actions, so what face is there to beg Qi Changjai now? It was also due to good luck Qi Changjai that he was not tossed to death by Wang Yuzhu and Zhong Changan. Wang's father jumped up and down some time ago, and asked Chen Fengzhi to confine him. Everyone could only applaud. In fact, Wang Yuzhu's temperament was not brought out by Wang's father. Hey, Zhong Zheyu said that he closed the mountain to close the mountain, but it's not that he didn't have the face to come out to meet people. Otherwise, when Qi Yu came back for a while, he didn't retreat, and he moved his hands twice with Qi Xian. I didn't expect Alchemist Gu. It's actually his son's Taoist companion, making a big joke. I don't know what he thinks. When Qi Changjai was in such a situation, I didn't see him come out to stop him. What do you mean by him? Let me tell you, maybe Qi Changjai's cultivation talent made him feel jealous at that time. Otherwise, why would a normal person favor a son with less talent, and ignore the one with better talent? Then Zhong Zheyu's mind is too narrow, isn't it? The speaker dared not believe the truth. Would anyone be afraid that his son is more talented than Laozi? Borrowing another son's hand to suppress this son? I'm afraid it would be sensational to say it. What's the use of talking about this now? Zhong Zheyu and Zhong Changan are the culprits who are hiding, and Wang Yuzhu is dead, so what can we do with Zixiao Peak? Dangxia Peak now treats Zixiao Peak with a nose, not a nose and an eye. Not the eyes. I also blame Wang Yuzhu when he was poisoned last time. Wang's father offended Dang Xiafeng up and down a lot, and now he has turned around and asked others, will they have a good face? This is clearly a new hatred plus old hatred. If it's just Qi Changjai's strength, it's fine. At most, avoid him in the future, and the sect will not watch everyone fight, but the situation is different now. I wonder which nascent soul cultivator will not be jealous when he looks at the 6th grade top grade pill. For Zi Xiaofeng, Guyao alone is more than 100 times more lethal than Qi Changjai. The Yuanying cultivator in Zixiao Peak was worried, and Feng Lord Shen was too worried, and Guyao and Qi Changjai both went to the secret cultivation realm of Zongmen. This secret realm is just suitable for cultivators of the firewood attribute. Qi Changjai is the whole process. Escort. As soon as Gu Yao entered the secret realm, it was like a fish entering the water, and his whole body made a joyful sound, especially Lian Xinhuo, who had been peacefully in his dantian before, could not wait to absorb the spiritual energy in the secret realm. Gu Yao stayed in the secret realm for several months, retreated and practiced wholeheartedly, went in and out of the secret realm from time to time, and returned to Gu Chi Peak to handle trivial tasks. Because Tian Firong and Fatty have never heard from him, Qi Changjai has to keep an eye on him at all times. The news of the birth of the Sword Pavilion failed to attract these two people. Qi Changjai had reason to suspect that they were trapped in a place of last resort and could not get out, so with the help of the power of the sect, let the Lingyuan sect strongholds all over the place secretly investigate these two people. Which is much more efficient and quicker than going out on their own to find them. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 343. Tang Cultivator was so happy in Gukha Peak that he didn't think about Shu. With his status as a loose cultivator, it would be very difficult to have a cultivation cave in Wanluo continent with the same spiritual conditions as Gukha Peak. He came to Wanluo continent. Never been so comfortable since. It was just too comfortable to stay. He was a little uneasy. When he was sitting by the river with Yin Hua fishing and grilling fish, he mentioned that he wanted to leave. Yin Hua had a reason to stay with his nephew. How deep the relationship is, how can you enjoy all this with peace of mind? Yin Hua squinted his eyes and said, let's wait for Xiaoao and the others to come back from the secret realm. I've been here for a long time, and I should go out and move, otherwise my bones will really rust. The environment of Gukha Peak is good, but they are also restricted outside Gukha Peak as foreign monks. For example, the secret realm where Gu Yao goes to practice is only open to the disciples of this section. Even Gu Yao and Qi Changjai have no privilege to let Yin Hua in. This is the rule. Without the rules, there is no circle, but Yin Hua doesn't want to join the Lingyuan sect. Tang Xiu laughed, well, I'll listen to you. It's not easy for the two of them. It's not that they have the ability to open up such a situation. Yueyang Peak. Zhongzheyu's mood became worse and worse. He didn't say anything after a long night. Even the Taoist companion he was looking for was able to overwhelm Shenzheyu. When he was in Yunji and Feng City, he didn't take this little white face into his eyes at all. Who would have expected his alchemy skills to be so good, and it is no wonder that Qi Xian held him in the palm of his hand before he came back. He must have known that his alchemy skills were good. Where's Chan gone? Shenzheyu walked to the front of his son's cave, and found that it was empty. After a while, he called a disciple to ask. Now the disciples on Yueyang Peak almost all excuse themselves from seclusion, otherwise they will be unlucky when they meet Zhong Changan. Body, so how far away? Senior brother, he took the token and went out to the peak. What? You didn't stop the others? Zhongzheyu was shocked and ran out of Yueyang Peak at this time. Did he not want to live or something, for fear that the wicked boy would not find a chance to attack him? The disciples were grief-stricken. How could they stop them, and they had no idea in their hearts that Zhong Changan would go out and have a hard time. Zhongzheyu was annoyed that the son couldn't see the current situation. He didn't see him. The old man shrank up and pretended to be a tortoise. He gave out a few more tokens. Quick, send a few people out to look for it and see where Changhan goes. Now, bring him back as soon as possible. Yes, this disciple felt even more bitter, but he had to act according to the order. He took the token and led a few disciples out to find Zhong Changhan's whereabouts. During this period, they also played tricks, secretly checked the whereabouts of Zha Gaiao and Qi Changjai, and saved others by themselves. They didn't think Chi Changjai would pass up such a good opportunity to take revenge, but the results of the investigation disappointed them greatly. Guyao was in the secret realm of Muan, and he did not leave the seclusion until now. Chi Changjai was sent by the sect to the newly developed secret realm to deal with troubles, and he was in a state of being inseparable. As a result, several disciples on Yueyang Peak felt that they were treating the belly of a gentleman with the heart of a villain. Zhong Changan walks in the sect without leaving any traces. There are many people who know him. Although they will receive strange eyes from others, they still have to bite the bullet and ask clearly. This search took nearly a month, and finally found a person in a Spring Breeze building in Lingyuan City. However, Zhong Changhan's condition surprised them. His whole body's meridians and dantian were destroyed, like a crippled person. Lying on the same bed in Chunfenglu, if they came one step later, this person would be thrown outside the gate by Chunfenglu. These disciples hurriedly took the people back to the sect and handed them over to Zhong Zheyu to deal with them. They were helpless. After they left, various rumors in Lingyuan City quickly spread, because Zhong Changan was clamoring that his father was the Yuan of Lingyuan section brother Ying. He was plotted in the Chunfeng building, and the Chunfeng building must be responsible. If he dared to throw him out of the Chunfeng building, he wanted to make the Chunfeng building unable to open. So Zhong Zheyu and Zhong Changan, the father and son, quickly became popular gossip figures among the monks in Lingyuan City. Everyone wanted to slap the two of them. This is a husband not a husband, a father not a father, and a son not a son. At this point, it's really good. Others will be very happy when they meet a Taoist like Qi Xian and a son like Qi Changjai, so Zhong Zheyu swept them all out of the house. The more you admire Qi Changjai's superb swordsmanship and amazing strength, the more you despise the father and son, and Guyao's level of alchemy has also come out. Although some monks questioned, they saw that those sect forces sent disciples to come. Ling Yunzong's request for pills, even if he is not 10, can be trusted with 7 or 8 points, so he feels more and more that Zhong Zheyu is stupid and unattainable. Having such a brother is simply a shame for Senior Qi. Forget it, how can they be considered brothers, one surnamed Zhong and the other Qi? It would have been fine for a long time. Okay, putting them together is a shame for Senior Qi. No, now this Zhong Changan is completely abolished, right? His father has the ability to cure him completely. Even if the wounds on his body can be cured, his cultivation will also be abolished. Do you have the courage to start from scratch? Hey, not everyone can be like Senior Kai's. The golden core is broken, and they can still be repaired from scratch until the nascent soul is completed. I'm optimistic, this Zhong Changan will not have this life. Everyone made fun of Zhong Changan. Zhong Zheyu is also a man with no sense of responsibility. Anyway, if you are looking for a Taoist companion, you must never look for someone like Zhong Zheyu. This is a clear contrast. Let's not talk about the rumors in Lingyuan City for the time being, but Yu Yangfeng is going to be turned upside down at this moment. Where did Zhong Zheyu think of Zhong Changan going out? When he came back, he became a cripple. His first thought was that Qi Changjai shot, and it was Qi Changjai who shot and ruined Zhong Changan. Zhong Zheyu didn't care about closing the half-closed mountain, so he quickly lifted the blockade, and asked someone to check on Zhong Changhan's physical condition, hoping to find the murderer from now on. For the sake of giving out the spirit stone, someone came over to run, and after examining Zhong Changha, he shook his head and said, "The situation is very bad, the person who started it is very ruthless, and there is no room left, only to find someone who can repair it. The meridians and dantian's medicinal herbs have come to treat me, so I am helpless. Can you find out who started the attack? What are the characteristics of the attacking person?" The visitor glanced at Zhong Zheyu in surprise. "You don't think it's the hand of senior brother Qi Changjai? It's impossible. If it's his hand, even if you find a medicinal pill, it won't repair your son's wounds." Because the person who shoots must first remove the sword energy left in the body, or find someone whose cultivation is higher than that of senior brother Changjai. The cultivation of the person who does it is just slightly higher than your son, but not too high, so he used some drugs make your son unable to resist, and there are still traces of drugs in his body. Farewell, senior brother Zhong. Take care. The person left Yu Yangfeng in a subtle mood. Looking at Shen Ziyu's expression, he knew that he had guessed correctly. Zhong Zhaoyuejing suspected that it was Qi Changjai's hand, and he did not think that his son would offend him on weekdays. How many people have been there, and now that there is no father and son of the Wang family to support him, others have not come to take revenge. Zhong Changhan's situation spread quickly in the section after the monks who came for treatment. Everyone knew that this had nothing to do with Qi Changjai, although it seemed that Qi Changjai took revenge, because who made Zhong Changhan. Now the symptoms are the same as the result after Qi Changjai fell into the space rift. But after a little investigation, I knew that Qi Changjai didn't have time to take action, and the descendants who entered that secret realm haven't come out yet. Could it be an outsider he's looking for? Is this necessary? It's really a long and late hand. Can Shen Ziyu still find him to settle accounts? Some people may think that this matter may be inseparable from Qi Changjai, but if there is no evidence, who will stand on the side of the Zhong family and his son to denounce Qi Changjai? If he can't think about it, he will offend him and Gu Yao. Zhong Zhaoyuehan used the Jamaican medicinal pill to stabilize the injury on Zhong Changhan's body and prevent it from worsening. However, after Zhong Changhan knew the real condition of his body, his temper became worse and worse, and the entire Yueyang Peak had no disciples. Those who were willing to approach him desperately urged Zhong Ziyu to get him an elixir that could completely cure him, and it was best to restore his cultivation base to its original state. Zhong Ziyu also didn't want Zhong Changhan to be completely abolished. He couldn't afford to lose this person, so he spent a lot of money to get the medicinal pill. As a result, one medicinal pill did not heal Zhong Changhan's danshan at all, and it still exists. Cracks. With such cracks, there is no way to condense spiritual power in the danshan, and after condensing, it will dissipate through the cracks. Only now did the father and son know that something major happened. I quickly looked for someone to check and found that there was still a very special toxin in the danshan. I was afraid that ordinary antidote pills could not be eliminated, but someone gave Zhong Ziyu an idea. Maybe the best antidote pill refined by ancient alchemists could be worked. Zhong Ziyu almost vomited out a mouthful of blood and asked him to ask Gu Yao. Now, in this situation, he regrets spending a lot of money on medicinal herbs to treat elongation Han. He is an extremely selfish person. How could he do everything for Zhong Changhan? The matter was dragged down like this, and many people secretly laughed at Zhong Ziyu. One son was a genius, and the other son was going to be a waste. The point was that the former could not be rescued. Qi Changjai finished dealing with the matter in the secret realm, and when he came out, he heard about it and just smiled. When he returned to Gu Chifeng, he found Zhou Hu behind Yin Hua's back and thanked him. Yes, this is exactly what he asked Zhou to do. Tiger found someone to do it. It was Qiao Qian and his colleagues who were rescued by Gu Yao. Zhou Hu arranged for Wang Yuzhu to do it. Of course, Wang Yuzhu himself died under the claws of the beasts. In case he had the imprint of the cultivator on him, he transferred it to Qiao Qian and others. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 344. Yin Hua didn't ask about this matter. In his opinion, it is normal for Qi Changjai to take action. If he does nothing, he is still worried about who will bully his nephew in the future. Qi Changjai also looks like a generous old man. That must not make him vomit blood. He believes in a tooth for a tooth. By the way, that Yan Yuanjing sent a letter in. He left to travel, and he will come back to ask you for advice later. Yin Hua told Qi Changjai that Qi Changjai happened to enter the secret realm at that time, and ordinary communications could not be sent inside. Qi Changjai smiled, as expected, his growth will not be slower than mine. Although leaving the scope of Ling Yunzong means that Yan Yuanjing will encounter many dangers, after all, he has the inheritance of the mad sword demon predecessors. In Yan Yuanjing's words, he has friends like himself, but those who hide in the dark don't have so many scruples, but these may be exactly what Yan Yuanjing needs. The dangers he faces and the endless enemies will continue to inspire his potential, hone his swordsmanship. Seeing Yan Yuanjing next time, maybe he doesn't have the confidence to win, but there is a well-matched Jiangziu. Qi Changjai is also very welcome. There are not many things in the sect that need Qi Changjai to come forward to deal with it. It can be said that he is now the first person under the internal transformation of the sect, and others dare not bother him with trivial matters. Wouldn't that make Qi Changjai feel they look down on him? The suzerain took over the repair of the Jianj and the passage to the spiritual world. The Jianj was in progress, so Qi Changjai had just returned to Gukha Peak with his forefoot, and then went to the secret realm of Muan. Qi Xian laughed when she saw this. She used to be afraid that the child would be cold-hearted, and she didn't know how to get along with her when she found a Taoist companion, which chilled the Taoist's heart, but now she knows that she doesn't have to worry about this son. This son really leaves him alone. In my heart, it was really good, maybe because no one had been so wholeheartedly good to him before except her mother. Qi Changjai had just arrived at the secret realm of Muan, just when Gu Yao was leaving the customs. There was a cluster of lotus-shaped flames in front of him. The flames swayed in mid-air, and then slammed back into Gu Yao's dantian. Qi Changjai saw that Gu Yao's own cultivation had also grown. After experiencing the Jianj and the retreat during this period, his cultivation had steadily advanced to the late nascent soul. Go, I will take you around in this secret realm, sometimes you can meet the creatures cultivated in the secret realm. Okay. The two wandered in this secret realm for a few days, and collected some spiritual grasses with unique properties that grow here. The medicinal herbs refined from these spirit grasses are the most suitable for Gu Yao to use, and then they refine the medicinal herbs in the secret realm for a while. Here the spiritual energy is stronger than Gu Qifeng's, and it can replenish and restore the spiritual energy consumed in the process of alchemy faster. The two went out of the secret realm and flew towards Gu Qi Peak together. The figure in mid-air attracted many passers-by monks to stop and watch. To say that the most enviable Taoist couple in the sect today is this pair, which has attracted a lot of people. The monk was eager to find a Taoist companion to cultivate with him. When he was about to reach Gu Qi Peak, Qi Changjai received a message and raised his eyebrows slightly. Tian Firong and Fatty have news, let's go and have a look. Really? Finally there is news, let's go quickly. It's good to have news, indicating that people should be fine. Gu Yao couldn't wait to pull Qi Changjai to fly to the steward's residence in charge of this matter. The steward in charge of external affairs was surnamed Wan and also a cultivator of nascent soul. However, after staying there for many years, he did not make much progress in his cultivation, but he also survived as a person. Seeing Qi Changjai and Gu Yao coming hand in hand, they first congratulated Gu Yao for leaving the customs, and then without waiting for the two to urge him, he took out a jade slip, which was the news sent from the sect's stronghold outside. Junior brother, look, I informed senior brother Qi as soon as I arrived, hoping to help senior brother Qi. Wang Guanqi said in his heart that a sword cultivator like Qi Changjai was actually a man of love and righteousness. For the two friends who came to Wanluo continent together, he labored the entire Lingyuan sect to inquire about their whereabouts at the outside stronghold. Laozi's temperament is nothing like that. He is a human being, and he has had contact with Zhongzheyu before, so how can he not see that this gentleman-like monk is a selfish person in his bones? Befriend this husband and you will not treat him badly in the future. Qi Changjai glanced at it and handed it to Gu Yao. Gu Yao frowned slightly and looked carefully, and asked, Wang Guanxi, what is described here? The characteristics of those two monks match the person we are looking for. There is no image of the two of them in the jade slip, but one person is described as a very good fire attribute cultivator. Letting go is the blue flames in the sky, especially since he has a magic weapon and can control many fire crows, Gu Yao dares to said. This is the second brother Tian, not to mention that the cultivator with him is a person who is good at formation. These characteristics are even more suitable. Wang Guanqi looked at Qi Changjai. Qi Changjai didn't know Wan Luo continent thoroughly, so he wasn't sure, so he said, Wang Guanqi, just say it. Okay, senior brother Qi, Master Gu Alchemist, this jade slip came from Gu Wanghai. The situation in Gu Wanghai is very complicated, and Ling Yunzong can't get involved there, and only set up some strongholds to buy products there for Zongmen. Out, the disciples over there sent back news that these two monks had provoked a not weak force in Gu Wanghai, and they were chased and killed and fled everywhere. Wang Guanqi deeply felt that the luck of these two monks was too bad to fall into such a place. It was very difficult to escape from Gu Wanghai, because the exit was controlled by the local forces of Gu Wanghai. Even if the disciples of Lingyun sect wanted to pass any message back, also needs their permission. Qi Changjai said decisively, please, Steward Wang, help me prepare a detailed document about Gu Wanghai, and help prepare a few identities that can enter there. Okay, senior brother, don't worry, junior brother will prepare it in person. Thank you. After Qi Changjai said thanks, he took Gu Yao back to Gu Chi Peak first. He had to leave the sect for a while, and he didn't know when he would return, so Gu Chi Feng had to deal with it, and the sect master had to explain it before he could leave. Rest assured. If the sect had a mission, he happened to take it by the way. The time to return to the sect was too short, and he still hoped to do something for the sect. Gu Wanghai? I'm going, Yin Hua insisted upon hearing that there was such an interesting place. Sounds interesting, fellow Daoist Tang, what do you think? Zhou Hu said with a smile. Tang Xiu originally wanted to say goodbye to Qi Changjai and Gu Yao, but after hearing this, he also felt that this place was quite good and a good place to practice, so he said, then I'll go too, I hope to help Daiyu Tian and Daiyu Hu. Busy. Okay, pack up, we'll leave right away. Gu Chifeng left it to Mother Qi to take care of it, and Gu Yao sent the medicinal pills that had been refined in the secret realm of Muan to Dangxia Peak. Although Feng Jiwei and others had high hopes for Gu Yao, they did not stop him. Going out to practice, Gu Yao also came over so many years ago, and these practice are also beneficial to the growth of cultivators. The most important thing is to go with Qi Changjai, otherwise there is only Gu Yao alone, and they are not too worried about Gu Yao's strength, whether they can deal with the wind and rain outside, they are greatly relieved if there is Qi Changjai. According to the progress of his two alchemists, Gu Yao left them a jade slip, which was enough for them to absorb during the time he was away. There is no need to back down when others make trouble. How could senior sister Li and junior brother Song not obey? Now their days are the envy of all the disciples of the same generation in Dangxia Peak, but it is a pity that Gu Yao has no idea of recruiting people for the time being, so those disciples are very helpless. This situation it also made the two more loyal to Gu Chifeng. After Qi Changjai came back from the sect master, the group set off immediately. This time, it was not the entrance and exit of the mountain gate, but the teleportation array in the sect gate, with the information and identities organized by Wan Steward. However, some people are watching their whereabouts, and it is not difficult to find out where they are, but after knowing that they went to Guwanghai, many people gave up the idea of following up. In Guwanghai, the power of Ling Yunzong can't get involved. Getting there is not good for Qi Changjai, and it is also not good for them. A few days later, a few monks quietly left Lingyun section. Although they didn't use the sect's teleportation array, the direction they flew after leaving the sect was Guwanghai, but there were many sect monks coming and going. These few the movement of the monk did not attract the attention of others. Master, junior brother has left. A sigh sounded in the room, leave. It's okay to leave, it's up to him whether he lives or dies, the old man can't help him anymore. The two were Elder Wang and Peak Master Shen. It was self-evident who left. After leaving the sect, life and death were left to life outside the sect, which was beyond the control of the sect. At this moment, in Elder Wang's heart, this son is already a waste of chess. If he has the ability to pry Qi Changjai and Guyao, it will be a good thing. If Wang Yuzhu is not, it is also his blood. If the son is incompetent, it would be better if he died outside, so as not to come back and be embarrassed, then he will completely stop thinking about it, and he will not care about everything in the future. Peak Master Shen didn't say anything after listening. In his opinion, it was almost impossible for junior brother's trip to come true. Presumably, Master thought the same way, but he was holding on to 1/10,000th of his expectations. Gu Wanghai is very far away from Lingyun Sect's boundary. After using the teleportation array several times, they still need to fly for a long time to arrive. On the way, several people read the information compiled by Wang Guanqi several times, so that they knew the place well. Yin Hua knew that the two of them were still alive, so after reading the information, he gloated a little. These two guys are so unlucky, they actually fell into that place, and they didn't fall into the sea at the moment they landed. Bar. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 345. Dangxia Peak. Peak Master Wei called over several of the alchemists in charge. Before Guyao left, in addition to leaving behind a pot of top-quality alchemy he had refined, he also left some things. He only glanced at it and knew that this matter was quite important. And at the same time amazed, getting Guyao is the great fortune of Dangxia Peak. Thinking of this, when he looked up and saw Cao Songbei walking in, his eyes became soft and kind. Cao Songbei checked his description first. Could it be that he just got some stains on his body in the Dan room? Not at ease, he also pinched a dust-removing formula. The corner of Wei Feng's mouth twitched. Forget it. When everyone arrived, Lord Wei Feng opened his mouth and said, Junior brother Gu left something down before he left. I have read it. There are several pill recipes in it, all of them were written by junior brother Gu. Let's see how to deal with it. Wei Fengji copied a few copies and let them see for themselves one copy. Yin Shi thought about what pill formula it was, but after reading it, he almost jumped out of his seat and said excitedly, it's all researched by junior brother Gu. Wei Fengji said, actually, if you ask the monks from the Qinhao continent, it is not difficult to know the truth. Several of the pill recipes in it have distinct personal characteristics, and it is not difficult to judge that they are from the same person. Junior brother Gu. The jade slip also left a message saying that sooner or later, these medicinal pills will be brought to Wanluo continent with the monks of Qinhao continent, and he has to hold them in his hand. It has a greater effect, but it can also save a lot of resources for the sect when it is promoted. For example, the Qing Chen pill that removes erysipelas, Ling Yunzong has a special spiritual spring, and soaking in it also has the effect of removing erysipelas. Sometimes there is an effect. In comparison, Qing Chen Dan appears to be of good quality and low price. There are also medicinal pills that can improve aptitude. When Feng Jiwei first saw it, his heart skipped a beat. He couldn't use words to praise Guyao's amazing pills. Dang Ziafeng really got a treasure this time. They all regret letting Guyao go out. Although it's been a long night, I'm not afraid of 10,000 just in case. After reading it, Yin Shi also felt that Guyao was a genius. No wonder he was able to cultivate the demon-devouring plant and research the exorcism pill, and he was willing to hand over these pill recipes to the sect without reservations. He really had a pure heart. Feng Lord, I think this matter needs to be discussed with the suzerain. That's right, the alchemist Gu has come up with such a good thing, and the sect should reward Gu alchemist heavily. Cao Songbei knew why Peak Master Wei looked at him like that, because he recruited Guyao in. Yes, Cao Songbei also found it inconceivable. He casually brought a 6th grade alchemist in, but he did not expect his value to be lower than that of a 5th grade alchemist. That's right. Wei will go to the sect master later. You don't have to make a statement about it for the time being. Sect Master Yuan just dispatched a batch of materials and sent them to the sword pavilion of the demon realm of death. He heard that there was something wrong with the Peak Master Wei of Dangxia Peak, and called someone in. After hearing the intention, he would not agree, so he would take it one step at a time. Chen Dan is very good, Xianhui and the disciples of this sect. Because Gu Yao didn't know when he would be able to return to Lingyun sect, he kept all the medicinal herbs he had developed for the sect to deal with. This is because the monks from Qinhao continent will bring the pill recipe here one day. Sooner or later, these kinds of pills will spread in Wanluo continent. It is better to wait for that day. Although compared to the transformation pill, the Qing Chen pill will be more popular, because for the major sects, they do not lack disciples with high spiritual root aptitude, and disciples with single spiritual root and double spiritual root qualification are still in Lingyun section. There are a lot of them. It seems that transformation pills are not so necessary, but Gu Yao feels that if there are transformation pills, they will give those monks who have poor spiritual aptitude but are committed to progress, a few more opportunities. On the way, he didn't know what Gu Yao left at Dangxia Peak until late, but he didn't express any opinion. The things belonged to Gu Yao. Of course Gu Yao had full decision-making power, and he knew Gu Yao's mind. They went all the way without stopping. After a month, they finally reached the vicinity of Guanghai. It can be seen that the distance is really far away. If they were not using the teleportation array, but flying by aircraft, I don't know if they would be able to arrive in half a year. The forces of Guanghai are involved. I am afraid that the news spreads to that side, and the actions of Jianzhou are almost over. Just like Lingyunzong and other major forces can't get involved in Guanghai, many forces in Guanghai can't intervene here. The aircraft landed on the seashore, and the scenery in front shocked the people who saw it for the first time. Even if they were mentally prepared and read the relevant information, they could now see the endless sea of clouds in the middle of the sea, and their mouths could not close for a long time close. Qi Changjai was equally shocked, and it was the first time he came here. I don't know how the sea of clouds formed, but it is the sea of clouds that divides the Wanluo continent into two, and divides it into two distinct worlds, but there are also another way of saying it is that the two sides originally belonged to two continents, but for some reason they were connected together, and this sea of clouds is the dividing line of the connection. And the name of Guanghai is also related to the Sea of Clouds. There are also creatures in the Sea of Clouds, which are called cloud beasts. There is a cloud beast that is not very strong, but its cry is particularly loud, Guhang Guwa. The descendants I have become accustomed to referring to the world on the other side of the Sea of Clouds by the ancient Wanghai. They are getting close, and it seems that there is a faint sound of Guhang Guwa in the wind. Wang Guanqi's information introduces the Sea of Clouds. It is not easy to go deep into the Sea of Clouds, and the utilization rate of cloud beasts is not high either. It is very high, so not many monks go deep into it, but the contents inside are very beneficial to monks who specialize in fog-related exercises. When Gu Yao saw it at the time, he thought of the sea belt. The sea belt already has the ability to create ghost fog. If it is combined with the Sea of Clouds, the ability will definitely be greatly enhanced, but now is not a good time to enter the Sea of Clouds, or wait until Tian-Er is found. Brother, it's not too late for them. There is a city by the sea for monks to settle down, but the group did not enter the city, but looked for the cloud vortex that entered the ancient Wanghai. The cloud vortex is a whirlpool mouth in the Sea of Clouds. Through the vortex, you can reach the other side, which is the ancient Wanghai. This is the most convenient way known so far. If you want to walk from the Sea of Clouds, it takes time and effort. I don't know if I have reached it. One day, and the cloud vortex discovered so far is no more than There are more than 20 places, each of which is guarded. Some cloud vortices will disappear, but new cloud vortices will also be created, and channels will also be formed from this. The world of the Sea of Clouds is so magical. There is a large vortex near Yunhai City here, and it has not dissipated for thousands of years, which has caused the prosperity of Yunhai City. This vortex was easily discovered, and Qi Changjai and Gu Yao led the flight towards the vortex. There are many monks who entered Guanghai from this vortex. Seeing that they put up their spiritual defense shields one by one, Qi Changjai followed silently. In addition to changing their appearance, they also pressed their cultivation to the golden core stage. It's important to find someone, not to stir up trouble. The reason why several major forces can't get involved in Guanghai is not only because of the terrain, but also because Guanghai does not lack the power of transforming God. As the other monks flew in the passage for a while, they saw the endless sea on the other side, dotted with scattered islands, and there was an island in front of them. There are guards at the exit, and everyone who passes by needs to pay a sum of spirit stones, 10 middle-grade spirit stones per person, and the fee is not low. Let's go. There is a teleportation formation on this island. Qi Changjai grabbed Gu Yao's hand and flew to the island ahead. Yinhua and others felt that the trip was worthwhile. In addition to seeing the Sea of Clouds, the ancient Wanghai was really too big. Compared to it, the Qinhao continent was indeed a bit insignificant. Yinhua said with a smile, actually, it would be good to come here to occupy an island and be the island owner in the future. Just after he finished speaking, the cultivator who passed by noticed the laughing sound. It was a shame that the sound floated back when he passed by. It must be the first time he came back. It is easy to be an island owner. Just find an uninhabited island. It's the first time that people come here, so they have to make people have some dreams. Yinhua is very angry. He feels that just to fight for his breath, he has to take the island owner as a solid, and it must be a wealthy island. When he can't hear the meaning of these two people. That barren island worthy of his status? Don't be angry, I'm here to help you grab an island, then you will be the big island owner, and I'll be the second island owner. Others will lose their share, Zhou said. Qi Changjai and Gu Yaofei were in front. They looked at each other and decided not to get involved with their elders. Especially Qi Changjai, who owed Zhou a favor before, and I don't know how he arranged those cultivators. After a long journey, they finally arrived at an island called Xinsong. The information that was sent to Lingyun sect was what the sect disciples on this island noticed, and it has been a while since the initial discovery. Where are the two fat men now, and what is their situation? Xinsong Island is no smaller than a Cloud Sea city, and the monks on the island are mostly based on building foundation pills. People, monsters, and demons are mixed together. Zhou raised his eyebrows with interest and stayed in Lingyunzong. On the site, although he was not excluded as a demon cultivator, it was not very popular. This kind of place is really good. After finding the shop set up by the sect, Qi Changjai directly revealed his identity, and the disciples here quickly and respectfully invited the group to the back courtyard, and personally served spirit tea and fruit. This disciple is just a Jindan cultivation base. He is not too young. Because his cultivation is hopeless, he took the initiative to apply to come to such a place. The remuneration given by the sect is not low. He didn't dare to be careless at all. Two uncles, it's like this. After he reported the news back to the sect, he was told by Wang Guanxi, so he paid more attention to the whereabouts of the two monks. The two seniors offended the people on Yunwang Island. A force, a cultivating family surnamed Ho. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 346. Yunwang Island. From the name, it is known that its status is not low in Guanghai. This is known to Guyao when they read the materials. There are two largest islands in Guangzhou, namely Yung Island and Yunwang Island. It is as big as a big planet in Guyao's cognition. The fate of Tian Firong and Fatty for offending a big family on Yunwang Island can be imagined. The arrest warrant for the two was issued by Yunwang Island, and other islands are not willing to offend Yunwang Island. It's two nameless boys, why bother with them? If you want to blame them, they're bad luck and bumped into the hands of the Ho family. The whole story is actually very simple. When Tian Firong and Fatty first came here, they landed near Yunwang Island. In order to find out their situation and location, they went to Yunwang Island to inquire about news. In the Fa competition, because the first prize of the competition was a fire soul stone, which was very beneficial to Tian Firong, Fatty felt that it would not be a waste of time, so he signed up to participate. All the way through the barrier, the fire soul stone fell into the hands of Fatty, a dark horse that suddenly appeared. Unexpectedly, it provokes Ho Yingja, the third son of the Ho family. Ho Yingja is the formation genius of the Ho family, plus the status of the Ho family. This name cannot be escaped, so this fire soul stone has long been regarded by Ho San Gongzi as his own, and the fire soul stone has long been regarded as his own. The stone has long been useful, and he wants to use it to show affection to his sweetheart, because his sweetheart has a strange cold poison, and the fire soul stone can just relieve the pain of the strange poison attack to a certain extent. Senior who has greatly offended Ho Yingja and the entire Ho family. Young Master Ho's sweetheart is actually not outstanding, but he has a grandfather who transforms into a god. According to the disciples' speculation, the Ho family likes it. It should be the status of the grandfather of the Huashan, and the Ho family will marry him, and the status on Yunwang Island and the entire ancient Wanghai will be more stable. The disciple had a look of helplessness on his face. The two seniors are new here, they are confused about the local forces, and they don't know the purpose of Ho Sangong's use of this fire soul stone. The soul stone is used up, and this time not only offends the Ho family, but also offends the god-turning ancestor. Guyao opened his mouth, but he didn't know what to say. This could be considered a disaster. Yin Hua sneered, if you want to say that the source of this matter lies in the third son of Ho, if you want to pretend to be handsome, you will overturn the boat. I don't believe that the Ho family can't get this fire soul stone through other means. I have to win the formation competition. Guyao nodded and said, that's not the case. The fire soul stone will appear in the reward of the formation competition, and the Ho family's credit must be attributed to it, and it turned out to be a person who can't afford to lose. Let's not talk about this. You know where the last time they had a noodle was? Guyao and Chi Changjai both had the original messenger on their bodies, but unfortunately they didn't respond. Either there was a problem with the other party's messenger, they were far enough away, or they were blocked by the formation barrier. This disciple showed a strange look on his face, and said, there is something very strange, it just happened recently. There are also disciples of our sect on Yunwang Island, and told me something 5 days ago, that is Ho the family actually took back some of the people who went out to capture the two seniors, but they didn't return to the family, but sent them out to do another thing, and there was also a cultivator secretly looking for someone on Yunwang Island. Yin Hua blurted out, isn't he looking for the sweetheart of that Ho San Gongzi? His sweetheart didn't like him so he ran away. The disciple twitched the corners of his mouth, and he also had some doubts in his heart that the young master was gone, and young Master Ho should not be in a hurry to show his performance, but for various reasons, he couldn't make it public, so he could only search privately. He took out a map. It was the most comprehensive map the disciple could come up with. The last time there was news, it was in this place. He pointed to the location on the map, but more than half a month has passed. So the disciples don't know where they are now. Guyao took over the map, which marked more than 1,000 islands large and small, and some also marked the main forces on the island, and whether there were teleportation formations that outsiders could use on the island, and some teleportation formations were not open to the public. This map was made with great care. Guyao said, "No news may be good news. There are not many disciples here in the sect, and the strength is limited. It is not easy for you to achieve this level. We will set off here immediately. If you get the latest news, let us know immediately." "Yes, Master Gu, this disciple understands." The disciple responded immediately. Guyao left this disciple with a bottle of medicinal pills that he can use at the current cultivation level, and he is about to set off again. The disciple, De Hao, waited for Guyao and the others to leave and open it, and it turned out to be a top-grade pill, and he almost cried with joy. In fact, those who are sent to such places to be stationed have no background forces. Even if they are too far away from the sect, they can make use of the local conditions to earn some extra money, but such medicinal herbs are not what they can think of, so they are becoming more and more inquire about all kinds of news for Guyao and the others. It is very inconvenient for Gu Wanghai to travel here. When Guyao and the others arrived at the place where Tian Firong and the others appeared last, several days passed. Because the danger in the sea is much greater than that on land, there are not only sea beasts from the sea, but also wind and sea birds in the air, which will attack the passing aircraft and seriously destroy people. The aircraft they used this time were taken from the section they did not need to consume their own spiritual power. They directly used spiritual stones to open the way. In order to ensure smooth flight, they used high-quality spiritual stones, because they were flying to resist the strong wind outside. And the defensive cover that is erected consumes a lot of spirit stones. This also means that Qi Changjai and Guyao are not short of spirit stones now. Among the rewards they have obtained from the sect several times, only high-grade spirit stones are collected. I have won a lot, so I can splurge like this, and it will not hurt to change someone else. Several people flew out of the aircraft and settled on an island with poor spiritual energy, so the island was mixed with mortals and Chi-refining foundation building monks. Unless a passing monk took the island residents away, it was foundation building. It is also extremely difficult for a cultivator to leave this island and go to an island rich in spiritual energy by his own strength. Qi Changjai and Guyao's consciousness swept all over the island, and finally settled on a place. Guyao said, "Tian, our brother has indeed been here, he has left behind his aura of descent, and he has fought fiercely with people. There are also traces of Fatty using the formation." Where they were standing now, the ground was full of potholes, which was caused by the monks' fight. But they searched the entire island and the surrounding waters, and there was no trace of the two of them. Of course, the result was also what they expected, but they searched again and again with a fluke mentality. When they came over, they did not reveal their tracks, and even the aircraft above also activated the hidden formation above. They did not want to disturb the residents of the island. They could not guarantee that the monks had left any means to prevent Tian Firong and the two from being answered. Before they found any trace of them, they were exposed to each other's eyes. "Look for a few people to have a look after it gets dark," Qi Changjai said. Guyao nodded, and a few people returned to the aircraft, waiting for it to get dark, and they decided to find a few local people to search for their souls. Given the gap between their current cultivation base and the local residents, this matter can be completely done without leaving any clues. Will not affect the person, nor will outsiders find traces of soul searching. However, when he started, Guyao still let the cub take the shot. His shot made it even more invisible, and it could completely make the other party fall into a dream unconsciously, and the scene of that day would be repeated in the dream. After reading the memories passed on by the cubs, Guyao sank his face and said, "It was the people on the island who leaked the whereabouts of Brother Tian and the others, because they are strangers. This island is not big, it is easy to cause trouble. The local residents are vigilant." A total of 5 nascent soul monks came, and the residents of the island did not dare to come close to watch because they were far away. They only knew that the fight was dark, and they were also worried that Brother Tian and the others would come back to retaliate against them if they escaped. From the memory of one of the residents, I discovered the direction where the injured Tian Firong and Fatty fled. One of the 5 nascent soul cultivators was killed, and the remaining 4 chased in that direction. It is unknown what happened after that. Guyao took out the map and pointed to the direction Tian Firong and the others fled from, but this direction was almost useless in this vast sea, because it was possible to turn around at any time at sea, or it was possible that he lost his way. This is troublesome. You may not be able to find clues in this direction, and maybe you will waste time. Tang Xiu looked at the map and said, he was also worried about these 2 people, because they were not weak, otherwise there would be no way surviving in the siege and interception until now. It has also caused the opponent to lose troops. Zhou Hu chuckled, if you want me to say that you don't need to spend that much effort, go directly to Yunwang Island to solve the source. This time Qi Changjai, you might be able to find a spiritual cultivator to practice your skills. The opportunity is so good. Although there was a joking element in his words, Qi Changjai nodded seriously, yes, that's exactly what I mean. This matter ultimately falls on the Ho family and the cultivator Wu surnamed Huashan. This cultivator has always been single. There is no one in his hands to use it alone, as long as he doesn't show up, and then attract the Ho family's hands back to Yunwang Island, the pressure on Fatty and the others can be relieved a lot. Yin Hua slapped the palm of his hand with a fist and applauded, yes, if you cause some trouble for the Ho family, they will definitely bring back the people from outside. As for the people sent by other forces, they may not be as dedicated as the people from the Ho family. Guyao also thought it was a good idea, then let's go to Yunwang Island. I also want to see this who can't pretend to be disgraced. A group of people came silently and left silently. If the people on the island should deal with it, let Fatty and the others deal with it. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 347. Yunwang Island, as one of the 2 major islands with equal importance to Yung Island, is naturally prosperous. There are many towns on the island, and there are small villages scattered between the towns, and countless monks shuttle between them. Guyao and the others landed in front of the largest city on the island, and saw that there was a long queue at the city gate waiting to enter the city, but this was the scene from the side gate, but the middle was empty. Can't get out of this entrance. Guyao and the others queued up with the other monks. Without him, the passage in the middle is for the monks of nascent soul and above, and there is no need to enter the city. Those who are below the nascent soul period can honestly line up and pay the entrance fee. Of course, it is like waiting for home. With the power of the family, there is no need to queue in and out through the side door, and the family badge can be displayed unimpeded. After queuing up and handing over the spirit stones, a few people who pretended to be Jindan cultivators finally entered the city. They first found a restaurant to rest. Since leaving Lingyunzang, they have been running on the road and have not stopped to rest. Guyao, who was sitting in front of the window and looking at the scenery outside, sighed and said that this place is indeed different from the land and has a unique flavor. After this matter, you can have a good time here. They are still on the outskirts of the city, so they don't pay much attention. Sea beast corpses can be seen on both sides of the street for sale. Naturally, this smell cannot be enjoyed on land. Of course, it is not so scattered in the inner city. Cultivation families who have lived here for generations have improved their taste in food, clothing, housing, and transportation. How can they get a salty smell on the street? Most of the dishes on their table are made of materials from sea beasts. The red agate placed on one of the plates look like works of art rather than food, but this is the key recommendation of the restaurant to them. The special dish is the fish collected from the stomach of a deep-sea fish, and the fishy smell is removed by special methods. Guyao couldn't help but took one and put it into his mouth for a while. It felt like the pulp was bursting, and his mouth was full of sweetness. Yin Hua's eyebrows trembled as he ate. It's delicious. I'll take a few more plates to eat when we leave. Cultivator Tang tasted one. Not to mention the deliciousness, the spiritual energy in it is also very pure, and there is also a very weak vitality. Cultivators with low cultivation often eat this. It can prolong life and speed up cultivation speed. Of course, this is it. The price of a plate of makiang fish is not affordable for ordinary monks, and a plate is a high-grade spirit stone. Therefore, Cultivator Tang did not agree with Yin Hua's words. It was enough for him to taste it once. It is better to use this spiritual stone elsewhere. Before Gu Yao could speak, Zhou Hu hurriedly said that it's fine, and then asked the guy to bring some more plates. Yin Hua squinted at him. Did you hear what my friend said? This kind of makan fish was picked from the belly of the powerful sea beasts of Jindan, and there are better nascent soul level ones, which are priceless. Zhou Hu immediately patted his chest and said, "What's the matter? When I'm free, I'll go to the sea specially to catch a few sea beasts that produce this kind of fishing rod for you, and let you eat as much as you want." "Okay, I'll wait." Yin Hua would only push out when something to eat was delivered to the door, and he didn't want to do anything anyway. Gu Yao twitched the corners of his mouth, not knowing what to say. At this moment, Qi Changjai also came up to Gu Yao's ear and said, "I'll catch a few for you too, Xiaoao." Brother Tang doubted whether he should follow. It seemed that he was alone. Forget it, he would go catch it himself when he had time. If he caught it, he would not eat it, but replace it with spirit stones to supplement himself. Thinking about it, he felt sad. What? This Ho family hasn't caught anyone yet? Ho Yingja is really embarrassing this time. If I were him, let's be honest and deduct the fire soul stone first. As a result, if you can't steal chickens, you will lose rice. The sound from the next door made a few people stunned for a moment, and they listened with a little concentration, hoping to hear something useful. The Ho family's base camp is in the city, and of course there are many private islands under the Ho family's name. The production on the island is the source of income for the Ho family. Yeah, I don't think that fellow Taoist who won the championship is older than Ho Yingja, but he was just restrained in the formation technique. His formation genius was defeated by an unknown generation. How could he still have his face jumping up and down? If I were him, I honestly huddled up at home and pulled it down, and it won't be too late to come out in a few years when everyone forgets about it. Hey, what's he willing to do? Don't forget that he wants to use this treasure to show affection to young Master Cheng. This time he has no face, so he can't swallow this breath. By the way, it's been so long, you guys, did you find out where those two guys came from? It seems to have appeared suddenly, and the cultivation base is not weak. In my opinion, there is only one possibility, that is, it came from other continents. Although this kind of situation is rare, it has not been unheard of before. You guys say, if I find out the guy with the flames and give it to Senior Cheng, will I be able to pull Senior Cheng into our camp? The key is that people don't know where they are now. These two can run quite well, and they recovered quickly from such a serious injury. It means that they have a good medicine for healing, and it is not easy to catch people. Gu Yao heard a dark expression on his face, lowered his voice and said, "Could it be that the Ho family also has such an idea?" Although the quality of the green flame that was forcibly stripped out will be greatly reduced, its effect is definitely much greater than that of the fire soul stone, which makes Gu Yao extremely worried. During the pursuit, let him meet, Tian Urge has almost no chance of escape. The more he thought about it, the more angry he became, including the cultivators in the box next door. They dared to think so, because they thought that Brother Tian and Fatty might have come from other continents, and they had no background and could only be slaughtered and oppressed. No burden at all, annoying. They didn't think that at this time, they would win over a promising nascent soul cultivator. No, they shouldn't look down on this foreign cultivator. Qi Changjai grabbed Gu Yao's hand. "Don't worry, with us here, the Ho family and those guys can't make any plans, including the senior. In his opinion, if Guyao's Lotus Heart fire was exposed, he would be more scorned than Qinjian. After all, Lotus Heart fire was much stronger than Yiyan in terms of healing and detoxification, and Qinjian was used to fight. So how could he tolerate such an idea? Even in front of the cultivator, he was fearless. The cultivators next door became more and more energetic. Although they imposed a ban to prevent others from eavesdropping, their cultivation base was not enough to see in front of Guyao and the others. There was nothing, so all the voices entered their ears. It turns out that they are monks in another city on the island, and they do not belong to the same family, but together they are not as strong as the Ho family. Whoever lets the Ho family have the ancestor of the gods, one ancestor of the gods can protect the Ho. The family will not fall for thousands of years, and it also enjoys the worship of the family that depends on it. The god-turning ancestor of the Ho family is known for his formation, so the third son of Ho, Ho Yingja, is most loved by this god-turning ancestor. Hearing the last few people also heard it, these guys are also powerful in their mouths, but it is impossible for them to take actual actions. It is impossible to hear their envy and jealousy towards Ho Yingja in their words. A few fellow monks can get it. The ancestor of Huashan personally gave guidance and protection, and the cultivation resources he gave him could make many people jealous. So these few people can't compete, but they are just sour. There was nothing substantive in the back, so a few people packed a few plates of fish and left the restaurant and went to the inner city. They must first explore the terrain of the Ho family, and discuss a plan of action. They must make a big noise without falling into the hands of the other party, and let themselves fall into a passive position. Maybe this noise can make a name for itself, and spreading it out may make people hiding somewhere. When the two fat men heard it, they spread the news. While they were making preparations, some people in the Ho family were also furious. Useless things, those two can't be caught, let's not talk about them, and now I can't even find anyone. The person who was angry was Ho Yingja, the third son of Ho, who they were targeting. The handsome young man, but at the moment, the expression on his face makes his image somewhat discounted. Third young master, his subordinate Zhan replied in shock, could it be that young master Cheng was taken hostage by those two guys? Otherwise, young master Cheng would not be able to hide and see no one by himself. The cold poison on his body broke out. How could it be good? Trash, do you still need to remind me of these words? Ho Yingja squeezed his knuckles. Give me a wider search range. I don't believe I can't find anyone. Hurry up and take action. I can't find anyone. People are asking you. I will personally go to Senior Cheng and make amends to him. Third young master. What does the disappearance of young master Cheng have to do with the young master, and which round will the young master make amends? Okay, this young master has his own opinion on this matter. You don't need to say more. It's important to find someone quickly. Yes, third young master. The subordinates didn't dare to be sloppy, they hurriedly ran out and continued to find someone. They couldn't ruin the third young master's event. Ho Yingja hadn't started yet, when another subordinate came to report the matter. Young master, the family has received a piece of news from the mainland. Ho Yingja was displeased and said arrogantly, what news can there be over there? Isn't it just a sword pavilion? It's not unusual for those people to dislike our Ho family. The Ho family has been based on Yunwang Island for an unknown number of years, and they are deeply rooted. They have no shortage of ways to advance to the gods, and they do not cultivate swordsmen, so there is no need to run over and compete with those monks. The third son, actually has something to do with the Jianj. Because of the trip to the Jianj, Ling Yunzong revealed a genius alchemist. It is said that this alchemist is not only in the middle stage of nascent soul, but he can refine 6th grade high-grade pills, and it is of the highest quality. Yes, not only that, he also solved the predicament of the death demon realm with his own hands, and now he has a good reputation there, such as the Five Elements sect and the Waji Palace Demon League, all sent cultivators to seek the best pills. That's all. The clan elders heard about it and expressed concern and attention. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 348. Ho Yingja couldn't help being moved when he heard the top-grade pill. He had to know that the high-grade pill he used in the past made many children in the family envious. Even a 5th-grade alchemist may not be able to guarantee a 6th-grade top-grade pill, so Ho Yingja patiently asked about the alchemist's situation, and learned that he was also from another continent, and he was also married to the genius sword cultivator of Lingyun section. There was a strange feeling in my heart. I had just met a foreign cultivator who slapped him hard in the face, and now another one came out. He was also a genius, so how could he have a lot of goodwill? He has always been proud of his talent in formation, but now a foreign cultivator has defeated him in formation, and another foreign cultivator's talent in alchemy is also unparalleled. Even after taking the elixir, everyone is a genius. Third young master, the subordinate suggested, not knowing what Ho Yingja was thinking. This alchemist is so good, will there be a way to save the young master? If the young master can invite this alchemist to act for the young master. Humph, you're smart. Ho Yingja didn't think about young master Chen before. He first thought about how much benefit he could get, but he wouldn't admit it. This young master thinks about it. You continue to pay attention to the situation in this regard. Yes, son. Ho Yingja ordered people to prepare carriages and horses to go to Senior Cheng's place. Not long after, 2 giant birds dragged a Chinese chariot flying from above the Ho residence. There were guards on both sides of the Chinese chariot, and beautiful maids played musical instruments. Ho Sangong's trip is naturally attracting attention. Guyao and several people in the crowd listened to other monks commenting on the Chinese car passing above, or envied or laughed at them. They also looked in the direction of the flying car. Go. This kid really enjoys it, he's really putting on the air when he goes out, Yin Hua muttered. Where is this going? Guyao looked through the thin scorpion and saw the handsome man sitting on the seat, squinting lazily, and a maid beside him was feeding him spiritual fruit. A well-informed person heard Guyao's words and gave an answer, looking in this direction. It must be to see Senior Cheng and young Master Cheng, and the good things of young Master Ho San and young Master Cheng are coming, so don't go more diligently. Span. Yin Hua curled his lips in disdain. He couldn't see that young Master Ho was infatuated with young Master Cheng. This man was clearly more feminine. Several people winked at each other and quietly backed out, secretly following the direction Ho Yingja left. They had inquired before that the mansion with the surname Hua Shende Neng was located on another island, so they saw the Chinese chariot flying out of Yunwang Island until it disappeared from their field of vision. Just as they were about to retreat, Qi Changjai and Guyao raised their eyebrows, they waved their hands, and everyone continued to hide their breath, and saw an inconspicuous aircraft also flying in that direction, and a few people cancelled their plans to return. Followed calmly, maybe there was an unexpected gain, but not necessarily. Guyao and the others' aircraft were not far behind, and they felt more and more that the monks in the aircraft in front were ghostly, and stopped in the middle. Guyao and the others also stopped in mid-air, and then they saw that the monk put away the aircraft and was busy in mid-air for a while. They are setting a trap. Seeing that these people were setting up a formation, and they were trapped, Guyao said in surprise, is it going to be used to ambush young Master Ho who will return? Yin Hua sneered and said, it seems that this Ho family is not a peaceful place. The third son of Ho has provoked a lot of enemies. Now they have seized the opportunity to kill the third son of Ho. It is not bad to kill him. The third son of Ho, when he heard it, he was ranked third. There was the eldest son and the second son in front of him. He had no idea how many children of the same generation were in the family, but now it was the third son of Ho who took the limelight. How could the other sons of the Ho family be reconciled? Sanzai, there will be no day for them to come forward. However, the other party is also cautious. These cultivators cannot judge their identities just by looking at their clothes, and they are also very cautious in their conversations, and their actions are well trained, and there is almost no change in expressions. Somehow, Guyao thought of a possibility, that is these family forces or individuals specially trained to be similar to killers and dead men. It is impossible for a sect to have such monks, but the power of the family is different. Guyao has seen it in the interstellar world, but he has rarely encountered it when he comes to this world of self-cultivation. This time it has opened his eyes. No, the Uncle Chi next to Brother Tian should also be considered in this situation. The original Gu family may have secretly staffed, but there is no comparison with the monks in front of them. So these people are not necessarily from the Ho family's own clan. Guyao is more inclined to be the Ho family's infighting and strife. The Ho family's mansion occupies a very wide area, and the family's children multiply a lot, and there are many monks who come to depend on it. A family is like a small society, with different identities and cultivation bases, and the resources obtained in the family are naturally different. In a pavilion surrounded by water, two men were sitting face to face drinking together. "Brother, can we succeed this time? The third child has no shortage of people to protect him, and he may have something to save his life left by his ancestors, but the dead soldiers they cultivated cost them a lot of resources. If the third child could not be damaged but sacrifice the dead soldiers sent out in vain, it would not be worth the loss. Fourth brother, don't panic, we have to prepare a lot, we can't just fix our eyes on the third one. Haven't we sent people to chase those two guys, and we should thank them, not only let the third child make a big ugly, and it is because of him that he discovered such a monk with Yan Yan. If we find this person and dedicate Qing Yan to the senior, you say that the third child can still have nostrils all day long. Are you looking up at us? But even if the third child has not been found, we can find the person first," Ho Lao Si doubted. A look of pride flashed in Ho Lao Da's eyes. The third child has been held up too high over the years, and he is self-righteous. Why did I take advantage of our brothers and sisters? He is not what I used. Rest assured and wait for the good news. Mr. Ho, the eldest son of the Ho family, is not too talented. Before Mr. Ho was born and showed his talent, his status in the family was not low. However, after Mr. Ho was favored by the ancestors, the position of the boss became more and more embarrassing. He knew that with the support of his ancestors, he could not fight the third child no matter what, so he could only dormant temporarily, looking for the best time to give the third child a hard blow. It is best to let him from now on. Depressed. After all these years of waiting, he spent all his energy on cultivating his personal connections and strengths. Now that he has finally had the opportunity, how could he not stand still? When the third child is useless, what if the family finds out about him? Can one more family member be damaged for the sake of a crippled person? What's more, neither the third child nor the family could find any evidence to prove that it was him. Ho Laosi raised his glass and touched the cup of Boss Ho, then let the eldest brother say good news. By the way, did eldest brother hear from the family that there is a genius alchemist on the mainland? Ho Lauda drank the wine in his cup and said, I heard that. I also got news that the alchemist went out to practice, and I don't know where he went. It would be great if he could come to our ancient Wanghai. Status, it is not difficult to exchange some medicinal herbs from him. Fourth, don't worry, when you have your brother's share, you will have it. Haha, then I'm looking forward to this alchemist coming to Gu Wanghai for a walk. As they said, Gu Yao also came to Gu Wanghai, but unfortunately, each of them had the idea of Tian Firong's Qingjian, but they would have a revenge. Gu Yao and the others were hidden in midair and waited for a short time, when the monks in front suddenly moved, and they hid their figures one by one. Just waiting for the prey to fall into the array, they can quickly set up to trap the prey. Puff, it seems that someone has sent them news. Even we can't detect this distance, Yin Hua said with a look at Leze. As Yinhua said, after a while, they realized that the Chinese car was heading here, and the flight route did not change in the slightest. It seems that the person who started it knew Ho Yingji's habits like the back of the hand. Practice. When I got closer, I could see that Ho Yingji in the car was not looking very well. Is this the result of not getting a satisfactory result from Senior Cheng? Young Master, that Senior Cheng is too much. The disappearance of young Master Cheng has nothing to do with the young master, but the senior has turned his anger on the young master, and all the slaves and servants are aggrieved for the young master. Although Senior Cheng is a god transformation, but the Ho family also has god transformation ancestors, not to mention the fact that the Ho family is big, and Senior Cheng is just a lonely man. When you come to Ho's house, don't you want to see the son's face to live? Ho Yingji's face softened a little, and he touched the maid's face, the maid softly shyly into his arms. Ho Yingji was soft and fragrant in his arms, feeling a little more relaxed. Chen Yuji, but the senior himself. Although I have the support of my ancestors in the clan, my ancestors would not focus on me alone, not to mention my uncles and brothers whose cultivation bases are comparable to mine. There are also a few talented juniors in the Nian family. The ancestors would not let the family give up on their training, but if there is support from the seniors, it will be very different. He will only support me, you understand. A trace of jealousy flashed in the maid's eyes. The jealousy towards Chen Yu was not only male, but also not outstanding in appearance. Just because there was a grandfather to support them, they could let their son surround Chen Yu and run around in circles. Feng is really lucky. Although he wanted Chen Yufeng to die outside, he didn't dare to say it on the face. Compared with them, the son valued his future in the family more. The slaves will obediently listen to the son's words. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 349. Ho Yingji was flirting with the maid when the giant bird pulling the cart suddenly chirped, and the cart trembled several times. The who accompanied the car had already flown out, and the leader of the team shouted loudly, "Young master, someone set up a trap to ambush us. Young master, wait a moment, we will come when we go." Ho Yingji was extremely unhappy. He waved his hand away from the maid in his arms, stood up and looked out, with a look of ridicule on his face. Needless to say, he was the fleas in the family who were jealous of his status. It's dark, but I haven't learned my lesson many times. The maid also stood behind him and smiled tenderly. There is another guy with short eyes who bumped into him. The son is wise and martial. These people can't let the son show his true strength, not to mention them, even our maids. It can be solved. Young master, next time, let a few slaves practice their skills. Ho Yingji was in a good mood when he heard it, and smiled. Okay, I'll let you go next time, but you must not hurt yourself, otherwise I will feel sorry for you, son. Master, Jiao said in a voice. But right here, a violent explosion sounded outside. Two giant bird heads bore the brunt and let out a wailing sound, and the car trembled and shook. Ho Yingji's face quickly sank, and when he looked around, he saw black dots flying over in the air. Holding the two maids around him, he abandoned the car and flew out, and said to the other maids, "Leave quickly, that's a torpedo." Just as Ho Yingji flashed out of the car below was hit by dozens of torpedoes. The blasting sound was constant, and there were also the screams of the maids. Ho Yingji chose the maids for their appearance rather than their cultivation. The other two were in the foundation building period, and before they had time to run out, they were hit by a torpedo and killed on the spot. Guyao and several people watched with relish from a distance, and at the same time, they talked about the methods used by the other party. Yinhua asked what a torpedo is. "This thing seems good." Qi Changjai replied, "Actually, it is a kind of inner elixir called Leo that has been processed. This kind of sea beast is rare, because it is naturally timid and secretive. Once encountering an enemy, most of them will choose to perish with the enemy. The inner elixir on the body can be easily detonated, and it is in a very unstable state. The cultivator took a fancy to this feature and extracted the inner elixir from the thunderfish to make torpedo seeds. I have only seen such records in the data, but I did not expect it to be here. Realized. There are all kinds of species in the world. It can only be said that it is unlucky to encounter human monks, and the means of saving their lives have also become the object of others' scrutiny. If their whereabouts are not secret, it is estimated that they will be extinct long ago. Seeing that the maid was killed and injured, Ho Yingja was furious and ordered his guards to capture all the people who were hiding in the dark. The spiritual weapon of, obviously has to find the weak point of the formation and break through. Ho Yingja's performance also made Gu Yao and the others amused, because 2 guards were also injured. They saw the appearance of the torpedo and rushed back to protect the master. Fortunately, their cultivation was much more solid than those of the maids. So he was injured and not killed, but Ho Yingja obviously regarded the maid as more important than these guards. Gu Yao said, if that Senior Cheng saw this scene, would he agree to continue with his grandson and this Ho Yingja? Obviously, it was a sentimental seed. Chi Changjai smiled, maybe I won't understand what's going on until I meet the senior. Those well-trained dead soldiers entered the formation with their own cultivation and flesh and blood as the formation base, and their power was even more extraordinary. Ho Yingja quickly understood the principle of the operation of this formation, and his face became heavy, and he used this method to deal with it. Those people in the clan really disliked him to the extreme. Damn it, Ho Yingja cursed. He now also realizes the seriousness of the situation, so he wants to bring Senior Cheng in to increase his position. He didn't expect to be destroyed by the unknown monk who killed him halfway. Chen Yufeng's whereabouts are even more unknown. He wondered if Chen Yufeng had been reluctant to come out because he was hiding from himself, otherwise, how could even his grandfather not be able to sense his position? Ho Yingja waved his hand and sacrificed something, which rose in the air and made a roaring sound. It was actually the skeleton of a sea beast. Think of such an attack. The skeleton of the sea beast slammed into the weak spot that Ho Yingja was looking for without fear of death. Every impact caused a tremor in the space of the formation, and the expression on Ho Yingja's face became more and more stern for the sun to continue to smash. Bang bang bang. Young master, help! There was a cry for help from behind. Ho Yingja looked back, and the 2 maids who had just been brought out by him were hit in the heart by sharp weapons, and the 2 looked at their son in despair. Ho Yingja burst into anger and roared, I want you to die. I want you all to lose your soul, and you don't even have the chance to be reincarnated. Ho Yingja, who was irritated, made frequent use of methods, which also allowed Gu Yao and several people to see the profound background of the Ho family, as well as the wealth of Ho San Gongzi, who was deeply loved by the god-turning ancestor. The formation, the one-time magic talisman, was constantly thrown out and bombed, all of which required the accumulation of spirit stones, and in addition to the sea beast bones, 2 top-quality spirit tools were also sacrificed. However, in their opinion, the sea beast skeleton has the strongest attack power, and when the strength is exhausted, the complex lines on the body will flash with light, and the surrounding spiritual energy will swarm and pour into the skeleton, continue a tireless attack. Those guards knew that their masters took those beautiful maids very seriously, for fear of angering them, so they spared no effort to attack their opponents. After half a day, the trapped formation was finally broken, and most of those who died were also killed in the formation. There were a few corpses floating in the air, but Ho Yingja's losses are not small. None of the maids survived, and half of the guards survived. If these guards are not strong enough to protect their masters, the outcome they will face will not be much better than death. Sir, we. Be careful, a guard noticed something was wrong and rushed to the front of their son. A violent explosion sounded behind him. It turned out that the two of them were not completely dead. Boom boom boom. Ho Yingja spit out a mouthful of blood with a wow. This time, the loss was huge, and he was seriously injured. More importantly, he also used a life-saving thing that his ancestor gave him, and the loss of other things, no matter how big it is, it can be supplemented, but this life-saving thing is limited. Thinking of such a big loss, Ho Yingja spat out another mouthful of blood. Ho Yingja's expression became more and more pure. Suddenly, several vine-like objects came from behind, and before Ho Yingja could react, he was tied tightly by the dark green belt, and the spiritual power on his body could not be activated. He plotted against him behind his back, and his spiritual power was almost exhausted, and it was too late to defend and resist. Hey, Ho Yingja was dragged away from under the eyes of the guards. The guard was horrified and rushed over without thinking, "Let's release our son, we have sent the signal, someone from the Ho family will come over immediately, let the son go." It's a pity that they only saw the dark green rope, but they couldn't see who its owner was. They were fast, and the rope dragged Ho Yingja even faster, and laughter came from the air. "If you use it, Mr. Ho, what?" At that time, your Ho family withdraws the arrest warrants against Tianhu and both of them, and transfers all the outside personnel back, and we will release the people back to you at any time. Of blue flames. After speaking, Ho Yingja himself disappeared suddenly along with the rope. No matter how the guards searched around, they couldn't find a single hair. Their third son was taken away right under their noses. When the family guards arrive, these guards can only report truthfully, including the words they left behind. So half of them were left to continue their search, and half of them went back to report. They had no control over this matter. Guyao and the others didn't even show their faces, so they bundled young Master Ho and threw them into the room in the cave. The room was also closed, no one would respond even if Ho Yingja scolded his throat. Several people quietly returned to the city again. It has to be said that Ho Yingja ran out on his own and gave them an excellent opportunity to get off. Otherwise, it would not be easy to break into Ho's mansion and get people out. Young Master Ho was taken as a hostage. Such a big thing, under the careful operation, can definitely spread to all corners of the country quickly. The senior officials of the Ho family were furious. This was a provocation to the authority of the Ho family, especially those who dared to touch the Ho family while they were still on the Ho family's territory. But just when the Ho family was about to send people to search the whole island to get people, many people appeared in the city and threw leaflets in large quantities. What is written on the flyer is, "Use the third son of the Ho family, when will the Ho family revoke the wanted order for Tianhu and the two, and withdraw the dispatched personnel, and when will the third son of the Ho family return to the house?" The whole city was in an uproar, and it spread rapidly. It turned out that someone's helper came and actually took the third son of Ho as a hostage and replaced him. This time, the third son of Ho really lost all his face. Last time, he was able to save his respect, and the Ho family was very powerful. How do you think that the third son of Ho, except for his self-esteem, did not lose much other than his self-esteem? Those who acted behind the scenes were also daring and dared to move the Ho family's people on the Ho family's territory. The city's hot discussion can't be stopped at all. The Ho family didn't want to spread the matter at all, they just wanted to do it quietly. After all, the Ho family's face was dull when the matter spread, but they didn't expect that the behind the scenes wanted to make it known to the world. Ho Laeta and Ho Laosi were also stunned when they heard the result. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 350. The Ho family turned the entire Yunwang Island upside down, and couldn't find any clues about young Master Ho, let alone whose hands the person fell into. So when the Ho family sent people to start the search outside the island, they began to check the strange faces on the island. This was obviously done by the newly arrived monks, otherwise they would not have waited until this time to start. Needless to say, this method really worked. In the end, the Ho family's influence on Yunwang Island was deeply rooted, and the forces that stood shoulder to shoulder with the Ho family were not willing to disagree with the Ho family over such a trivial matter, so they kept their eyes open and let the Ho family be in control. After tossing around on the island, many unfamiliar faces were found, and they were all on the suspect list of the Ho family, including Guyao and his party of 5. Although they are all Jindan cultivators, it is very easy to hide their cultivation, and it is easier to confuse others by pretending to be Jindan cultivators. When the Ho family found the group, they had already left the inn and disappeared. Although this made the 5 people more suspicious, it would be a hassle to find them out. The Ho family was very angry, so these 5 people were added to the Ho family's wanted list. The Ho family gave a very high reward, including those who provided clues, who could get a very high reward. So while the monks on the island felt that the Ho family was arrogant to watch Hojialeze, they were also moved by the reward and launched a vigorous campaign to find someone to report. The disciples of Lingyun sect on Zinsong Island were speechless when they received the news from Yunwang Island. Although he met Alchemist Gu for the first time, he felt that Alchemist Gu was a very gentle person, but he didn't expect such a big commotion when he arrived at Yunwang Island, and he tied young Master Ho himself. Although Guyao and the others changed their appearances, this disciple knew that it was Guyao and his group who did it without looking at the news. He silently swallowed this astonishing fact, and then helped to promote the spread of the matter behind his back, so that it could reach the ears of the 2 seniors that the ancient alchemist was looking for, and this matter could end as soon as possible. What a mess! The 5 monks the whole island was looking for unexpectedly still stayed in the city, because no matter how powerful the Ho family is, there are places in the city where the Ho family cannot act recklessly. Right now, these 5 people are staying in another family's courtyard. At first, Guyao and the others wanted to find the rivals of the Ho family to cooperate, so they investigated the several forces in Yunwang Island, but it turned out that these family forces had been married for an unknown number of generations, and each other it has long been intertwined. It can be said that their interests are basically one, unless there is a big enough interest to make them betray their former allies. Guyao didn't dare to overestimate his own value, and those families were not necessarily much better than the Ho family. Now, I don't know how many people have the idea of stripping Tianfirong's body of green flames. The consequences of peeling off Qinjian on Tianfirong were much greater than peeling off Lotus Heart Fire on Guyao himself, because Yiyan and Tianfirong were one body and were bred because of his special physique. People are also ruined, and I have to say that it is very vicious. In the end, a disciple of Lingyun sect gave them a piece of news, so Guyao and the others came directly to the master of this other courtyard, a monk who was in a wheelchair and could not use his spiritual power. Fellow Daoist Lu, I've been worrying about fellow Daoist Lu these past few days. Without fellow Daoist Liu's help, we are afraid that we have to leave Yunwang Island to avoid the Ho family's search. Guyao found Lu Qingfeng sitting in the garden. The strange body tossed and turned pale. If it weren't for the information provided by the disciples of the sect, Guyao and the few who had just arrived would never have imagined that the Lu Qingfeng in front of him was once a young man with the same fame as Ho Sangongzi, the pride of heaven. What is even more unexpected is that Lu Qingfeng also he used to be a lover of young Master Cheng, but unfortunately he was poisoned by a strange poison during a calendar exercise. Although the poison was passed into his knees, the golden core in his dantian became more and more gloomy with each passing day. For also falling. The golden core is withered, and the consequence of forcibly mobilizing the spiritual power in the golden core is that the golden core is broken. What's more terrible is that the Lu family's infighting is not necessarily much quieter than the Ho family, and the Lu family also has a god-turning ancestor, but this god-turning ancestor's branch in the family is only Lu Qingfeng, so even if Lu Qingfeng's talent is not high, the ancestor of the gods will also protect him for the rest of his life. Lu Qingfeng's treatment in the Lu family made him more jealous than Ho Yingjia in the Ho family, and he was simply lying. However, Lu Qingfeng fell silent after being injured and poisoned. At first, there were always people who regretted what happened to him. After that, who would always mention a cultivator who was doomed to ruin. The later monks didn't even know if there was such a person in the Lu family. Gu Yao and the others came to Lu Qingfeng with a memory extracted from Ho Yingjia's dream. Back then, his accidental injury and poisoning was not an accident, but Ho Yingjia and the Lu family. The enemy of the enemy can be a friend, at least, Lu Qingfeng will not hand them over to the Ho family. After reading the memory, Lu Qingfeng's expression was very calm. Gu Yao and the others realized at the time that Lu Qingfeng actually knew about this matter, but there was no evidence to prove that the interests of the Lu family and the Ho family were intertwined. Qingfeng fell out, and the result was not what the Lu family wanted to see. Therefore, the Lu family suppressed this matter, punished the cultivators who practiced together, and provided Lu Qingfeng with a superior recuperation environment. The Ho family and other families were torn apart. Lu Qingfeng smiled. Qingfeng is honored to be able to host the first swordsman and the ancient alchemist under the famous Huashan. You must know that there are not many people on this island who want the ancient alchemist to be their seat. Distinguished guests, please ask the ancient alchemist to open the furnace and make alchemy. Gu Yao was surprised. Qi Changjai squeezed Gu Yao's palm, and hooked his lips. Outsiders only treat Lu Gongzi as depressed and sluggish, but I didn't expect Lu Gongzi to have so much information, and we can infer our identity based on this information. Lu Qingfeng smiled and said, that's also because the two seniors have revealed too many clues, and the two seniors are also from other continents. Here, I left Lingyun sect not long ago, and there were 5 people who traveled. The most important thing is that I smelled the aura of pill fire from the ancient alchemist. Such an achievement is not forgetting alchemy when resting. Therefore, even if you deliberately remove the hidden breath, there will be a new Dan fire. Of course, people who are not keen on smell will not notice it. Tianhu and the two seniors recovered quickly after being seriously injured. I thought they had to rely on the help of the best pills, so Qingfeng made a bold guess, and several seniors did not deny it. Gu Yao laughed. He didn't dislike this Lu Qingfeng. Maybe it was because of his nature, or maybe because of these years of torture, his mentality became peaceful, so he was a completely different type of person from Ho Yingjia. Lu Qingfeng said frankly, actually, there is something Qingfeng wants to ask Gu alchemist. What's the matter? Gu Yao wanted to see the poison on this person. This is purely a researcher's hobby. When encountering incurable diseases, he always wants to try it, whether it is the strange poison on Lu Qingfeng's body or the young master Cheng. He actually wanted to touch the cold poison on his body, but he couldn't guarantee that he would be able to cure it. I want to ask Alchemist Gu to help me see if the cold poison on Yu Feng's body can be untied. In addition, I want to ask Alchemist Gu for a pot of life-extending pill. Lu Qingfeng felt embarrassed as he spoke, and his face was filled with confusion. A little blood was revealed. Am I asking too much? I will buy the Yanxiao pill at 5 times, no, 10 times the price. Gu Yao asked curiously, you asked for this longevity pill for Ancestor Lu? Could it be that Ancestor Lu doesn't have a lot of life essence left? Lu Qingfeng's face showed bitterness. Yes, I'm not afraid of the two seniors' jokes. The old ancestor has only more than 100 years of lifespan left, and when I heard that the ancient alchemist can refine the best pills, my first thought was regretting myself. At the beginning, I trusted others so much that I collapsed my body to such a degree, otherwise I could personally go to Ling Yunzong's door to ask the ancient alchemist for alchemy. Those who know the details of the Lu family know how many times the ancestors experienced several battles after turning into a god, and the damage was not small. Although the injuries have recovered, they still lost a lot of life essence, plus the poison on my body. It is also possible to suppress it by the cultivation of the ancestor. I am not afraid of the jokes of the two seniors. I also have my own selfishness. If the ancestor's lifespan is exhausted, no matter how much things are left for me, it will not be able to save my life. Only the ancestor is alive. I can live well in this world and hope that one day I will be able to detoxify. Guyao patted his hand and sighed, who doesn't want to live well? Qi Changjai curled the corner of his mouth, and Lu Qingfeng's eyes also flashed a smile, and when he got in touch, Fang felt that this ancient alchemist was an interesting person. Guyao added, you have to prepare the materials for Yanxiao pill yourself. As for the young master Cheng, I also have to see someone to check his body and know if he is capable of treating him. Besides, I don't know the senior Cheng. Is it with the same idea as everyone else? Lu Qingfeng said, there's no need to worry about this point. Yu Ji won't agree, even if the ancestors get that flower, Yu Feng will also. Can't use it, so Chenglizu won't shoot. And whether it is fire soul stone or Yiyin, for Yu Feng, it is a cure for the symptoms rather than the root cause. Guyao didn't know if Lu Qingfeng was in the eyes of his lover, so he made such a conclusion. According to the information I got, Yu Feng left with the two seniors Tianhu. The seniors made such a big noise. I think there will be news soon, and then I will ask Alchemist Gu to check it out, no matter what. Whether it can be cured or not, this kind of favor owes Qingfeng to Gu Alchemist. Guyao and Qi Changjai glanced at each other. I didn't expect that young Master Chen was actually with Brother Tian and the others. Could it be that Lu Qingfeng also helped to erase the traces, so that the Ho family couldn't find them? Without the Fire Soul Stone, Tian Firong's role was much greater than that of a Fire Soul Stone, so it was still beneficial to be by Tian Firong's side.